Hey guys, it's Thump'r again with Blue Collar Builders. We're here at the OutBack booth in North American InterSolar Conference here in San Francisco, Moscone Center. We're going to try to break this down, cost benefits or values to the customer as well as the integrator installer.
What we've seen is more and more people are looking to solar, and the economics of solar have never been better. You've seen it where people are really wanting to see choices in terms of their own power on their own roof. But what a lot of people don't know is most of those systems are purely reliant upon the grid being present. They cannot operate independent of the grid. So if there's a power outage or a natural disaster, then even though they made the investment in solar, they've been surprised to find their system is black, no lights. The system can provide resilient power to their home and safety for the utility by having energy storage, the right type of products that can provide both sides of that equation. They can have the solar, the resiliency, their backup power, and safety for the utility. So it's not an either-or question. They can really have both.
First thing that customers are going to be concerned about is the added cost. Installers are going to be worried that that additional cost is what's going to prevent them from actually getting the contract.
True. There is always a little bit more, but when you think about it, it's not really the cost, it's the value that matters. There's all kinds of things we do in our life. We buy good quality cars because we value the quality. We don't run around in little rattle boxes.
As long as you can justify it, many people do it.
If you enough value out of it.
So why don't you show some people here what we got?
One of the things we've got is the Radian GS8048. This is an 8,000 watt inverter. It's capable of being utility interactive, so it can sell power back to the utility during the day. And if there's a power outage, it can instantly continue to power the loads in the home from energy in the battery and from the solar while protecting the grid.
Right.
So in this particular case, the Radian with a small battery bank can provide plenty of power for your home. There's each string has overcurrent protection, code compliant. You can provide a UL 1741 top to bottom solution to your customers.
How about this? Let's go through maybe a quick overview that you could explain to the people the different types of batteries and their cost value benefit.
It's a great question. There's a great question because there's really actually a lot of different technologies available today in batteries. Not only as traditional lead acid batteries, but also advanced batteries coming to market, lithium ion. Actually right around the corner there's a aqueous ion, saltwater battery. There's so much innovation happening and people really looking at how can I build a better battery. One of the things we are really proud of with the Radian is even though we'll work with traditional lead acid battery, we have advanced battery charging so we can work with all those different technologies. So two choices on lead acid battery. One is flooded lead acid batteries and then VRLA or valve regulated lead acid. You're looking at VRLA batteries in this particular case. Flooded lead acid batteries, they gas, and as part of that then they consume a little bit of water. So every now and again as part of their maintenance routine you would just add in distilled water.
Maintenance is mandatory when you buy that kind of battery.
That's correct. That's just part of the normal equation, just like checking the oil in your car.
Right, but the cost of it is lower.
Well, generally you do pay a little bit more for the same capacity for sealed batteries, yes. Yeah.
What about lithium?
Lithium ion, now that's something where generally right now they are more expensive per kilowatt hour.
But I took a workshop with Phil, and one of the benefits of the lithium battery is that it can operate in the middle of cycling. You don't have to go all the way down like a lead acid battery would want.
That's a really good point. Is one of the most important decisions a good designer can do is choose the right battery for the application. There's some applications like grid firming or demand charge management where you're really going to the battery quite often in small microcycles. They're either charge, discharge, charge, discharge. There's some applications when they look like that, then those type of advanced batteries really come to the forefront. There's other applications like when you're doing deep discharge like during a power outage where lead acid batteries actually really might be the better solution for you because that's the type of profile that they really shine for.
Why don't you explain to people what would they do to go about choosing, whether they're an installer or just a homeowner doing their homework, right? what inverter would they want, and what would be the reason why?
Well, one of the things we wanted to do with the Radian was make some of those design decisions a lot simpler, to be able to provide in one inverter everything you need for most residential applications. It's available in both a 4,000 watt and an 8,000 watt version, but also so one inverter can power most residential homes in terms of what somebody wants to run for refrigeration, communication, lights, water, things like that. But if your needs are larger, then you can stack multiple together to really scale up to a much larger power system. 10 of these could be put together in one system, and that's a lot of power.
Now, there's a number of system arrays that are already out there right now. This works with any other inverter on the market, is that correct?
We have an AC coupling solution that we provide to provide an universal AC coupling solution. So say if somebody has an existing PV system and they've been surprised to find that they can't operate, they're black during the power outage too, then they can add the Radian to their existing system, and we can basically work with that inverter so that in normal operation the power flows through, but during that power outage we can provide the power to the home and to that inverter and keep it online safely, reliably, and then really get the benefit of the best of both worlds.
So even when the grid goes down, you have power for your critical loads?
Exactly, and your solar stays up and running, protecting your house. What we saw in the aftermath of, say for instance, Hurricane Sandy, where there were many customers who thought, well, hey, no problem, I've got a generator, I've got 5 gallons of gas, if there's a power outage, I got things covered. Right? Well, what they found is that 5 gallons of gas lasts for about 8 hours. So if the disaster that you're expecting is a localized outage, somebody hits a telephone pole, unfortunate accident, you're still up and running, life is good, generator can be an okay solution. But when it's a larger disaster, then you can't always count on the gasoline being available. And what those customers found is that after that first 8 hours of having the lights on, never mind the sound of the generator running, then when they went to get the next 5 gallons of gas, they were waiting in line for 5 hours for that 5 gallons of gas. And just by simply putting in a simple battery-based system, even if it's charging from the generator, they can be a submariner where they run the generator for a short period of time, full capacity into the battery, and then be a submariner, go silent, go deep, run off the batteries until the batteries are exhausted, and then repeat. And what we saw people in the aftermath of Sandy, real world conditions, is they could make that 5 gallons of gas go for 3 days instead of 8 hours. Add solar, and you basically have an indefinite runtime. You can run forever.
Excellent, Phil. I really appreciate your time. My name is Thump'r with Blue Collar Builders. We're here at the OutBack booth. I learned a lot from Phil. I mean, his brain should be this big. The guy's full of knowledge. You really excellent source of information for everybody. I hope you glean something out of it. We're off to the next booth. Thank you again for joining us. Appreciate your time.
Thump'r, thank you for talking with us.
Yeah,
Our absolute pleasure.
Bye-bye.